All right, guys, Scream Factory collection, and I think I've gained enough that I finally wanted to do a full video of the Scream Factory videos I own, and I think I did this a couple years ago, but whenever I did that, I barely had any, so I'm really excited to talk about what I got so far in my collection, and of course, I'm always collecting. I really love Scream Factory, and I really love even movies that I don't really like. I want to get on Scream Factory because I really just love the artwork, and I really love the real devotion that they give to the fans of these movies. Like, I just think it's so cool. But otherwise, let's get started. Be jealous, Sean Kyle. I got my Halloween box set. I bought it in 2014 whenever it was released. Love it, amazing. It's one of my favorite box sets ever. And I think it's truly an incredible box set. Of course, it could, it could have a couple more new special features on some releases, like Halloween 4 and 5 didn't have anything really new. I think it was just the Blu-rays ported over from the Anchor Bay, I think, who did those. So I think there's stuff in this that's redone again, but just put into this box set, which is fine. But, all these together, really love a majority of these movies. Watched them so many times. Love Halloween, so yeah. The Omen box set. Now, The Omen, I really do like this franchise. I think it's a fun franchise. I really do like the idea of this kind of premise. I just really like the idea of what they do in these movies. And I think that the original trilogy of The Omen is really good and really fun. And 4 and 5 I'm not really big on, but I don't hate. But I'm just like, they're whatever. But I really love the original trilogy, and these transfers are really great. Really love this box set. Very, very beautiful artwork. The Fly. I love The Fly in 1986. I really like the 1958 The Fly. The sequels I enjoy, for the most part, I enjoy all the sequels. And I just think, again, artwork in this is incredibly fantastic. Really, really high grade for this box set. On to my steelbooks. Slumber Party Massacre. Again, beautiful artwork. I really, really love it so much. Just really, really awesome. Halloween 2. My favorite horror movie, I think, ever. Like, I truly... This is the first horror movie I watched in full, and I think that's why. But I truly love Halloween 2. It's one that I can watch every month. I don't watch it every month, but sometimes I do. And really incredible artwork again. And I really want to get the Halloween 3 steelbook, but I feel like it's going to be more harder to find. But I just think that the transfer is great. And this is also a 4K kind of restoration transfer of the other Scream Factory release that they did for this. That was in the Halloween box set. Regardless, one of my favorite movies ever. Had to get this beautiful artwork, of course. Prince of Darkness. Really enjoyed this one. It's one I've only seen once, and I really do need to see again. And again, beautiful artwork. It's so awesome seeing what they do with this beautiful artwork for these movies. And Carpenter, I've got not every one of his movies on Scream Factory, but I want to get the rest of his. I really do enjoy his filmography, and he's one of my favorite directors. I think I've seen all but 2 movies of his. I think Elvis and Dark Star, and I think that's it. But this one was enjoyable. I do want to rewatch it again sometime in the future soon. Keeping on with the John Carpenters, we got Someone's Watching Me, which was a first-time watch when I bought this. Really, really fun, honestly, little intimidating little TV movie. I actually enjoyed this one a lot. I think that this is really good performances, and I think for a TV movie, it really felt theatrical and really felt thrilling and really good. And this came out really close to whenever Halloween was made. They made this right before Halloween, but Halloween was released first, and this was released afterward. And you could tell the same vibes, but I still enjoy this. I think that this is really a fun time. So, on this one, let me explain. I got from Walmart, thinking that this would have the special features, but I got the Scream Queen double feature, which has the Fog and the Howling, and I thought, this is going to have all the special features as well. No, it's just a bare bones movie, each movie bare bones, and I want to get both releases on Scream Factory with all the special features, because all these Scream Factories, I love watching the special features, and this one, it doesn't have that. And this is a warning too, if anybody is really into the special features for Scream Factory, this version does not have any of them. It's just the movies, and that's unfortunate. But if you're a fan of just watching the movies and not the special features, this one is one to go for. But I really love watching the special features, and I was really sad that the Fog didn't have any special features or the Howling. And I was like, I'm gonna have to buy these again in the actual versions. But as of now, like, this is fine, but I want to upgrade to the other versions later. Big Trouble in Little China. Really, really fun. I rewatched this one maybe like 3 or 4 months ago, and I really, really loved the hell out of it. It was a John Carpenter movie that I've seen before, and it never made as much of an impression, and then watching it again, it really blew me away in how fun it is. It's so different John Carpenter than any of his other movies that I've seen. And again, I've seen all but 2. This one is so different because it's this kind of parody of like kung fu movies, and it's very comedic and very fun and silly and action packed, and it's just really, really incredibly entertaining. If I was ranking John Carpenter films on entertainment, this would be one of the most entertaining. It's just so fun and so enjoyable, and I really do dig this one a lot. In the Mouth of Madness. Really like this one as well. This one's great, and it really has a good job of being a really bizarre John Carpenter movie in which it is part of the trilogy, the Apocalypse trilogy, with The Thing, Prince of Darkness, and this. And I don't have The Thing on Scream Factory. I have it on regular Blu-ray, Universal, but I want to get the Scream Factory. But it's part of that trilogy, and this one is very bizarre, but in a really good way. Like, it's really strange and out there, but I think it does a good job of being a movie that's got its own identity that you really do remember. Like, it does a great job of being a very memorable movie. And I really do think that the performances are great. Sam Neill's great as always. And all these characters are fun in this movie. And the movie's it's a very good movie in a weird way. It's a movie that you haven't seen before. I do enjoy that about this movie. Road Games. Richard Franklin's Road Games. And this one, whenever I watched it, I thought, after the movie ended, I was like, this movie is totally solid, but it's not a movie that I'm gonna like rewatch much, but I will watch it again since I own it. I did like Stacy Keach and Jamie Lee Curtis in it. I thought that they were both good, but the movie for some reason just didn't pack as much of a punch as I thought. It kind of reminded me of something like Rear Window, but on the road, if that makes sense. Like like a road trip movie with Rear Window as well. It's a very interesting movie, and Richard Franklin also directed Psycho 2, which is great, and I really thought, that's why I need to see this movie, because I really love Richard Franklin. And this movie is good, it's solid, but it's not one that I loved, and maybe I'll like it more in the future, but as of now, it's a solid movie. Speaking of Psycho 2, yes, one of the best horror sequels ever. Really, really love it. It's so fantastic. What else can I say about Psycho 2? Psycho 3, really fun slasher. It is the most slasherish slasher in the franchise, and the other ones are not really slashers. They do have killings in them, but this is very much an 80s slasher, which is cool, and I really like the identity this movie has compared to 1 and 2. And I like that 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all good in being different movies from each other, and I really appreciate that all 4 of these movies are great in being different and original to each other, even though they are the same kind of story again, but they do a good job, all 4 of these movies, of being unique, and I really enjoyed this one. Psycho 4, just bought this one recently. It, again, awesome. Mick Garris's commentary is great. Psycho 1998, it's terrible, but I can watch it so much. I really do enjoy just watching how bad this one is. It's such a fun, weird experiment. Like, it's a pointless experiment, remaking the same movie again with actors that aren't as great. Even though those actors have been good in other stuff, this movie doesn't do well in these actors' favors, because they're just repeating lines from the first movie, but it's not as good. And the movie doesn't really have a reason to exist at all, but I think it's a fun, entertaining, dumb time. Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2, one of my favorite sequels. Really, really love the hell out of the second one, and I love how Tobe Hooper came back and did the second one. And I love how it's so different than the first one, even though he argues it's very similar with the black humor. But I really dig the hell out of this movie. Stretch is one of my favorite Final Girls. Dennis Hopper as Lefty is awesome. I really like Leatherface as this character who's kind of like just in love with Stretch, as opposed to the first movie where he's kind of like the motherly figure of the family, even though he's dumb. Like, I do like how they made Leatherface different in this movie to the first one. And I really like how this movie is just such a fun, entertaining movie. It's a definition of one of the most entertaining horror sequels I've ever seen. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Next Generation. Oh man, this is one of those movies, love it or hate it. I love it. I love how fun it is. I love how stupid it is. I really love Matthew McConaughey in it. I think he's great. I love Renee Zellweger in it. I like how Renee Zellweger changes from like this frightened girl to this badass kind of character at the end of the movie, where she even turns the tables on this family. And I like that Matthew McConaughey is just so ridiculous. And I like the fact that the humor in this is just, I can't defend it as being a good movie, but I can defend it as being, for me, an entertaining movie. Like, it's so incredibly fun, and I just always have a fun time watching this one. Black Christmas, Bob Clark's Black Christmas, one of the best. Child's Play, one of the many Chucky versions of this movie I have, because I own so many versions of each Chucky movie, and this one I had to get because of the commentary with Tom Holland. Had to get that. Good transfer, really fun. Love this movie. Dolls, Stuart Gordon's Dolls. This is so fun. I love Dolls. I think that this one, I watched this when I was really young, and I was like, this is really, really just memorable. Like, it's such a memorable, scary movie. And I really love all the characters. I really love all the kills. I really love all the creepy dolls and the designs of them. It's very, very much so such a fun time, and I really do enjoy this one. Phantom of the Opera, Robert Englund's Phantom of the Opera. This one is just okay. I'm not really into the Phantom of the Opera stuff, but this is kind of marketed as like a slasher version of it. And yeah, it's a little bit of a slasher, but I don't think it's as interesting throughout. Like, it's okay, it's serviceable, but it's nothing that I loved. But it was fine. It was whatever. The Burning. Love The Burning. Awesome. One of my favorite slashers, one of my favorite camping slashers. Like, I love everything about this movie. I listen to the score all the time. The score, Rick Wakeman, is just so incredible, and it's so incredibly moving, but also being creepy and scary. And it's just one of the most memorable pieces of music that I've ever heard. I love the score to this. I love the gore. I really love how watchable this movie is. I've seen it so many times, and I'll see it so many more. Really, really love it. And the artwork is incredible. Like, it's just, it blows me away, the artwork they have. I love how he's got the big shears, and I love how it's just got the head, and then just the design of it is just so beautiful, and I really love The Burning. Now on to Sleepaway Camp. Sleepaway Camp, again, is one of my favorite 80s slashers, one of my favorite slashers, and it's so incredibly memorable. It's so fun and so exciting, and every time I watch it, I can watch this anytime, and I really love everything about it. I listen to the commentary all the time. I think it's just a movie that's infinitely a movie that I can rewatch anytime. As well as Sleepaway Camp 2, a different hybrid from the first one. The first movie had really weird, bizarre moments of humor. This one is a pure comedy, like a pure horror comedy. And I love every minute of it. Pamela Springsteen is great as Angela. She and Felissa Rose are fantastic, but I love seeing the difference between the two. I think that this is just so fun, so quotable. Every great line, every great moment, all the gore. It's just so incredibly fun. One of my favorite movies ever. And then we get to Sleepaway Camp 3, which I think is okay. It's totally fine, but compared to the first two, I don't like it as much, but I still think it's a fun time. It's just not as enjoyable. Like, funny enough, like, I think it's a fine movie, like, it's a fine slasher, but it's not as enjoyable as the first two, which is unfortunate. But I think it's still a worthy Sleepaway Camp movie, and I do enjoy it. Silent Night, Deadly Night. Love that artwork. That's such incredible artwork. This one is one that I've seen dozens of times. It's one that is so watchable, and I really love the fact that this is an 80s slasher that doesn't immediately get to just being a movie about kills throughout. The movie really is about the last act being about the kills, and the first two acts are building on this character and why he's crazy, and you feel bad for him. And I really like that this movie is out of the norm for a slasher movie of its time, because it makes this character, Billy, who is tortured and like is abused, and he becomes this crazy killer. And I really like the fact that they make this movie such a fun slasher, but making it a little more than that with like character development and like making this character so sympathetic even though he's a killer. I think that this is so fun, and again, it's one of the most rewatchable slashers. I really love this one as well. Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. Probably, I forgot how long it. I think there's only 50 minutes of new footage in this movie, and like the first 40 are like scenes from the first movie. It's got such memorable things in it, like the Garbage Day scene, and of course they've got the picture of it on the back. Garbage Day. But it's way more low budget than the first one, because again, half the movie is just stock footage from the first one. but it's so fun, it's so exploitive, and it's so exploitive in a good way. Like, it's so incredibly stupid, but so incredibly fun. April Fool's Day. April Fool's Day, again, is a great one where you, without spoiling it, I really liked how the movie ended. The movie ended in a way that it seems obvious, but it's like, it works very, very well. And I think that the movie is just so fun and entertaining. And I think that it does a good job of being a fun movie, and I really enjoy this one. My Bloody Valentine, with the new footage inserted into it. Really, really fun. It's not one that I love, but I like it. It's not one that I rewatch a lot, but I enjoy it. It's not very rewatchable for me, but I think it's still a good slasher and really entertaining. Hell Night. I really love the artwork to this. That's really great artwork. Linda Blair, awesome. Peter Barton, awesome. And this one is a little on the boring side for me, but I think that it has some great moments. I do like the ending, but I feel like the movie, watching the whole movie, I don't feel particularly completely interested throughout. But I think it's still a fun slasher, and I think it's enjoyable and entertaining. Valentine. Valentine is a movie that after rewatching it again on Scream Factory, I gave it another chance, and I really enjoyed it. The first time I watched this movie, I was like, this is too stupid. And the second time I watched it, I enjoyed it a lot more. I felt like it was way more entertaining than I thought the last time. And I like that if I can watch a movie again and enjoy it more. I do like that a lot, because there's some movies that I don't like first watch, and then I watch them again, and I'm like, wow, this is really fun. And this is one of those examples. Can't say much. It's a typical slasher, but it's really entertaining, and I enjoy it. Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. This one is very fascinating. I like the fact that this movie is a movie within the universe of all the other big horror movies, like Freddy, Jason, and Michael. And it's like this character is in this universe of these people, like of these horror villains. And I think that that's interesting. And I like the fact that this movie is meta and like explaining all this stuff, but in a way where it's interesting. And I did really remember liking this one. I've only seen it once, but I do want to rewatch it again. And again, artwork is incredible. The Strangers. This one's really good. I really like the first Strangers. I like the second one as well. But the first Strangers, whenever it came out, like, I remember watching that trailer and being scared. Like, I used to live in a house where, like, it was like down in the countryside. Like, it was like where there weren't many houses around. And the thought of like looking out into the darkness and seeing maybe these people are there, I think still sticks with me. This movie is really creepy and really scary, and I really do enjoy the first Strangers a lot. I really think it does work. 10 to Midnight. This one is really good. Like, I didn't expect much of this. Like, I just didn't know anything about it. It has Charles Bronson in it. And I just went into this, bought it, and was like, I'm going to see what this is about. And I really enjoyed this one. This movie is really good as a slasher. I like the elements that they incorporate into it. Like the killer is naked throughout the movie, or that the killer is sexually repressed. And I like the idea of this, again, kind of like Silent Night, Deadly Night, where like you get this villain where you feel a little bit of sympathy for. And I do like movies like this. I think that this does a really good job of being a creepy, good slasher. I do enjoy this one. From what I remember watching it before, I really do remember enjoying it. I'm going to rewatch it again eventually. Serial Mom. Pussy Willow's Dottie. I love Serial Mom. This one is so Serial Mom. I love this one so much. It is so incredibly entertaining, and I need to see more John Waters stuff, because I've only seen this. I don't think I've seen any of his other movies, and I'm ashamed, because I know that people say that a lot of them are good, but I really, really love this movie. It's just so incredibly entertaining. Kathleen Turner is just so spot on in how funny she is, and how this character goes from friendly mother to this deranged psychopath, but it's such a funny movie. I love everything they do in this. It's so fun. Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight. Billy Zane is awesome in this. Jada Pinkett is awesome in this. All these people are great in this movie. I think this movie is a really, really good, fun supernatural movie, and I really, really enjoy this one. Bordello of Blood. This one is not as good as Demon Knight, in my opinion, but I think that this is still a solid, fun time, and I do enjoy the weirdness of this movie. This movie is way weirder than Demon Knight. It feels like it's not really a movie that was it seems like it was written on the spot. in a lot of instances where it's like a lot of random stuff happens, but it's kooky, and I think that the kookiness is fun. It's a weird movie for sure, but I enjoy it for the most part. The Return of the Living Dead. Rewatch this one again. I'm really enjoying it. This is one of those movies, again, where I watched it before and I was like, this is okay. And then watching it more and more, I'm really enjoying it. And I really think that on rewatch, it's a really fun time. Return of the Living Dead 2. This is the only one as of this video I have not seen. And I'm excited to see it because I really am liking the first one. Exorcist 2, The Heretic. One of my favorite horror movies. It's a movie that I know everybody considers bad or boring. But for me, I love this movie. I enjoy it. I think it's great. I think that the musical score is incredible. I think that the visuals are so great. I feel like even when people say this is a bad movie, and I'm fine with people saying that, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but I really feel like people should just look at this movie as kind of like a visual movie, not like looking at the writing or the acting, because I know that's what people complain about in this movie. And being a sequel to one of the best horror movies ever made, it's definitely one of the weirdest ones. And it works for you or it doesn't. And for me, it works very, very well. Really love Exorcist 2. Exorcist 3 with the Legion cut. Really freaking awesome. Love this movie. I know everybody talks about it. Great movie. Cool, different cut. I really like the Legion cut as well. It's really worth buying for this collection, in my opinion. Drag Me to Hell. Really fun Sam Raimi movie. Really entertaining. Really, really dig everything about this movie. Misery. Misery is such a great movie. Kathy Bates gives a performance of a lifetime. It's truly, her performance is so incredibly memorable. I love everything about her in this movie. I think this movie is a great movie and it works very, very well. And it's one that I haven't rewatched much, so I need to watch it again. And I think that it works on so many great levels. This was a first time watch. I never saw this movie before, and I got it on Scream Factory because I'm like, why not? And really, really enjoyable. Really great practical effects. Really fun little scary movie. Troll 1 and Troll 2. Love the first Troll. Love the second Troll as well. The first Troll is different than the second one, in which it's about trolls and the second one isn't. The second Troll movie is just so incredibly fun, and it's about goblins, but it's one of the best bad movies ever. But Troll 1, I think, is so watchable as well. I do love both and enjoy both pretty equally. Then this is not horror. It's from Shout Factory, not Scream Factory, but I have Mac and Me, which I have not rewatched, and I really do want to rewatch because I did really remember enjoying how bad this was and how fun it was. But I don't remember much about it. So again, I'm glad I found it cheap to buy because I wanted to see it again. And that is my Scream Factory collection. Tell me down below what you guys think of these. And tell me down below what movies you guys own on Scream Factory. If not, make a video and tell me about it. I really like to see what everybody's collections are. So that's it for this video, and thanks for watching. Hey guys, if you like this video, consider checking out my other content. I review a majority of films that are pretty recent, and also older films, and mostly horror as well. Horror is my favorite genre, so I expect a lot of horror. And check out all my links down below. I have a link to Patreon. I have a link to Instagram, link to Twitter, link to my Facebook group, Horror Enthusiast 101, and to my own personal Facebook page, CDR Movie Reviews. And thank you for anybody who watched this video. Thanks for watching.